Taunts and iconic moves allow wrestlers to showcase their charisma, connect with the fans, and hype up the crowd for a big upcoming moment. Here are the 10 best iconic moves and taunts that hyped up the fans. Starting with number 10, D'Von, get the tables. Tables have been a part of wrestling for decades, but it was the Dudley Boys, D'Von and Bubba Ray, that really took Wood to the next level during the early 2000s. It didn't matter if they were sharing the ring with a main event superstar or a 70-year-old woman. No one was safe from a vicious Dudley table spot. But the Dudleys didn't just drive their opponents through tables at opportune times. No, Bubba Ray and D'Von turned table spots into big moments, signaled by Bubba aggressively pushing his partner and demanding, "D'Von, get the tables." As soon as the crowd saw that psychotic stare in Bubba's eyes, they knew a big moment was on the horizon. And when it came to destroying furniture, the Dudleys never missed. Number 9, Shawn Michaels tuning up the band. From the moment he stepped into the ring until the final bell, the Heartbreak Kid took every opportunity to taunt his opponents and showcase his cocky attitude that fans either loved or hated him for. But there was one special move in Michaels' arsenal that amped up the crowd like nothing else. The Sweet Chin music is one of the most powerful but simplistic finishers in the history of wrestling. But Michaels added an extra element of drama to the proceedings by stomping his foot and gradually upping the tempo until he finally delivered the killing blow. Capacity crowd getting it together in Michaels. Tuning up the band never failed to get the crowd clapping along, and while Michaels has since retired from in-ring action, he's passed the iconic gesture down to Seth Rollins, who now uses it before delivering his curb stomp. Number 8, The Undertaker's sit-up. The Deadman's most recognizable taunt was his ominous throat slash, usually delivered right before a tombstone piledriver. However, The Undertaker has one special taunt in his arsenal that never failed to get a huge crowd reaction, whether he was working as a heel or a face. When Undertaker suddenly sat up, you knew that he wasn't taking any prisoners. Reminiscent of the undead rising from their graves, Undertaker's sit-up always struck fear in the hearts of his opponents. And over the years, he found tons of creative ways to seamlessly weave this iconic move into his matches. Number 7, John Cena's "You Can't See Me." What does this even mean? No one knows, maybe not even John Cena himself, but it hasn't stopped this hand-waving gesture from becoming one of the most recognizable taunts and catchphrases in WWE history. You can't see me!
And according to John Cena, he's going to see a lot of Vicky Guerrero.
John Cena's "You Can't See Me" apparently started by accident, but got so over that he adopted it full time. John originally saw the move performed by his brother, who was imitating a dance move where the performer moved his head around his hand.
He started doing a dance where he was moving his head around his hand.
Cena stole it, but it fit his rapper character so perfectly that it fast became his signature taunt. Over the years, the gesture took on a life of its own. Fans and celebrities copied it. It spawned countless online memes. Cena still whips it out on the rare occasions he gets on the mic or in the ring. Number 6, Eddie Guerrero's smirk. Eddie lied, cheated, and stole his way into our hearts, solidifying himself as a lovable rogue that didn't play by the rules, but always got the results. With his snake-like hips and his cartoonish facial expressions, Guerrero could tell a story through mannerisms alone, but no gesture excited the crowd more than Eddie's mischievous smirk. Eddie's infectious grin always came as he hatched a devious plan, and it usually ended with him planting weapons on his opponents just in time for the referee to turn around and catch them in the act.
Realizing the referee's coming to here. What the hell? Eddie has tossed the evidence.
It takes a special kind of likability to cheat right in front of us and still come across as a pure babyface. But Eddie did it with such a charm that we couldn't help but smile along with him. Number 5, the Yes Chant. As a once-in-a-generation talent, Daniel Bryan was tailor-made for the main event scene. But in true WWE fashion, Bryan was overlooked because WWE believed he didn't have the connection with the fans that a top superstar needed. But once Bryan adopted his now iconic catchphrase, it elevated him to the top of the WWE mountain.
All over the world with their hands in the air, shouting yes, yes!
Bryan adopted the chant and accompanying arm gesture from a motivational speaker called Tony Robbins.
Say yes! Yes! Say yes! Yes! Say yes! Yes! Say yes!
And with one simple word, it gave rise to an infectious mantra that not only heightened Daniel's character, but acted as a slogan of rebellion from the fans against WWE's booking. The fans, frustrated at WWE constantly shunning Bryan in favor of less over performers, would often hijack WWE shows with yes chants until WWE finally gave in to their demands. Number 4, Stone Cold's middle finger. As the rebellious anti-hero of the Attitude Era, Austin's connection with the fans was unmatched. He commanded attention from the moment the glass shattered, but not only was he a master on the microphone, but the Texas Rattlesnake knew exactly how to use body language to his advantage.
You gotta throw Ric Flair in there as well.
From his inaudible ranting as he walked down the ramp to his signature pose on the turnbuckle, Austin made for one of the most believable badasses in wrestling history. But it was Stone Cold's middle finger salute that always got one of the biggest reactions. It was a simple, universally recognized gesture that resonated with everybody on Earth, and it made the perfect taunt whether he was delivering it during a promo or right before he hit the Stone Cold Stunner. Despite Austin being one of the best mic workers of all time, a simple flip of the bird got Austin's point across without the need of words. Number 3, the DX crotch chop. When we think back to the Attitude Era, we fondly remember the violence and middle fingers and tasteless storylines. But nothing screams peak late 90s wrestling quite like DX's crotch chop. D-Generation X were the unruly frat boys of wrestling, and the crotch chop was their way of sticking it to the authority. The origins of the crotch chop are a little blurry because Shawn Michaels and X-Pac both began using it around 1997, despite X-Pac being in WCW at the time. However, Triple H and Shawn Michaels regularly said "suck it" backstage, and so married the two components into one era-defining gesture that's still used today.
Yourself.
Show wants both members of DX.
The implications of the taunt were pretty clear, and it became a core part of DX's presentation in WWE. Because the gesture became so widespread, it actually awarded WWE a ton of mainstream controversy during the late 90s. But in a period characterized by sex, aggression, and brash characters, the crotch chop fit the mold perfectly. Number 2, Acknowledge Me. Reigns has no shortage of mannerisms and taunts, from his fist cock before the Superman punch to that weird sound he makes before he hits the spear.
Beat! Nothing about it, and look at Reigns! There they go! Superman punch!
But when the big dog turned heel in 2020, he needed something new to reflect his character change. And so, Acknowledge Me was born. The tribal chief demands recognition, which is why these two simple words are the perfect addition to his character.
Paul, what time is it?
What time is it? It's Roman Reigns' time. That's what time it is. It is time for the tribal chief.
Acknowledge me.
This now iconic taunt is up there with Cena's "You can't see me," in that Roman is clearly stating that he's above everyone else on the roster. It isn't about his championships or his achievements. It's all about his ego and his obsession with reinforcing the fact that he's on top of the wrestling mountain. Number 1, hulking up. The concept of a fiery, theatrical comeback by a beloved babyface is as old as the wrestling business itself. But by adding an additional element of dramatic flair, Hogan's hulking up was the ultimate visual display of strength, courage, and determination inside a wrestling ring.
These 18,000 club fans can feel it! Hogan just brings the people right into it!
Just when fans thought that Hogan was down for the count, Hogan would kick out, shake his arms, pace around the ring, and summon a newfound energy to keep on fighting. Hogan's opponents would look on in shock, usually before they received a big boot to the face and an atomic leg drop before Hogan was declared the winner. Hulking up was so simple, yet it was made all the more compelling by Hogan's masterful theatrics. Even when Hogan played the part of the heel in his legendary match against The Rock at WrestleMania 18, the crowd still erupted when Hogan kicked out of the rock bottom and began hulking up. Hogan was far from the first wrestler to ever craft heroic comebacks, but Hogan turned it from a simple component of a wrestling match into an era-defining concept. That concludes our list of 10 iconic special moves and taunts that hyped up the fans. Did we miss any? Let us know in the comments below.